Mike, let's move along to Notre Dame looking to flip a couple of 2024 Southeastern Conference defensive back commitments. So let's find out who those two players are and where they are committed to at this time.
I always say follow the visits, Darren. That's my big thing. And that applies to players and where they're going to visits, right? It's just a way to say actions speak louder than words. It also applies to the Notre Dame coaching staff. Where are they going on the road? They are going to stop in at the high schools of their top targets. They're going to make themselves very present at those programs. Well, they've been to Caleb Beasley's school. This is a four-star cornerback who I think the world of. I've seen him 2 or 3 times in person. Just an outstanding cornerback prospect from Nashville Lipscomb Academy. I actually loved Notre Dame to land him. Coming out of his visit for Irish Invasion last summer, he was probably the best player there in my opinion. Logged a prediction, didn't work out. He commits to his home school, his home state school, Tennessee. Notre Dame is saying, sorry, man, you're too good of a fit. We need you here in South Bend. So Marcus Freeman was at his school last week, and Mike Mickens dropped by his school on Tuesday. So Notre Dame is definitely not giving up on this one, continuing to push for him. And how about this one? Peyton Woodyard just committed to Georgia January 7th. And he's an elite prospect, number 34 overall player nationally, number 2 safety. Another player who I really like the Irish to land early, and then his recruitment continues to blow up. You've seen the story before. He commits to the Bulldogs. I love that Notre Dame is not saying, we're just going to move on. It's for these players who, man, we just know that they would fit so well at our university. We're just going to keep going after them and make them tell us no again. That I really like that from this Notre Dame coaching staff. So they're going after Beasley, and then Woodyard, this 6'1", 190-pound safety. They're definitely going after him as well. And Chris O'Leary, Marcus Freeman stopped by at his high school today.
Mike, a quick follow-up on Beasley, if you don't mind. You mentioned that in Notre Dame's way of thinking that this kid is an absolutely perfect fit. What makes it such a perfect fit between Beasley and Notre Dame?
Notre Dame's such a unique place, right? And Notre Dame's locker room is different than a lot of locker rooms across the country. And those two young men, and Woodyard definitely is included in that. Man, you just get those kids around Notre Dame's commits. You get them near the players. Like there's just kind of that synergy. And Notre Dame likes recruiting the kids. They're also excellent football players. They're just the kind of young men you want in your football program.
All right, Mike, let's talk about Notre Dame's recent Junior Day weekend. And you have a couple of new predictions to unveil.
Yeah. So both are interesting, right? They're both are, maybe would be upset wins for the Irish. Notre Dame is always good to go into a Texas and Ohio and beat out, the Longhorns for a Texas kid, or going to Ohio and beat Ohio State, or going to Florida and upset the big 3 down there, going to California, upset USC. Like Irish are always good for a few of those a cycle, right? I've got 2 that are in that mold. Now, Peyton Pierce is from the Dallas area, but tons of Oklahoma connections. I believe it was his grandpa played for OU. I want to say both of his parents attended OU. His cousin, is a student at Oklahoma. But he's been to Notre Dame 3 times since this past summer. He went to the Stanford game, and I remember talking to him after that. And despite that horrific performance on the field, he absolutely was raving about it. Like you rarely hear a player rave about a visit. And he was just on campus for that Junior Day. So Notre Dame sources really like where the Irish are at here. I do as well from my conversations with him and some other, sources, close to that high school. So do like Notre Dame, logged a prediction, but far from over. I want to say it was just at Texas this past weekend. Again, you've got the Oklahoma connections. Texas A&M is very involved as well, but do like the Irish for Peyton Pierce. And then I often don't like logging predictions for players who are, sophomores in high school, but yeah, I'll throw a shot in the dark a little bit here. But it's more than a shot in the dark. Like Notre Dame, folks at Notre Dame really think the Irish are going to land Dorian Brew. He's from Clayton, Ohio, Northmont. he's got some Notre Dame connections in that, he's from the Dayton area, which is where Mike Mickens and Marcus Freeman are from. He's listed as a receiver, 6'3", 175 pounds, which if he's actually that's a big sophomore. Notre Dame actually likes him as a defensive back, specifically corner, but could play receiver or corner. So there's just, kind of some interesting things working in Notre Dame's favor. His family loves Notre Dame. Brew had a fantastic visit for the junior day. So did go ahead along that prediction. It's very early. The chances of me being wrong are decent, again, because there's just such a long recruiting process to go. He did pick up on an Ohio State offer recently, but I'm rolling with the Irish to make that win. Again, folks at Notre Dame, definitely feel like they can get him.
And Mike, for our radio audience, Pierce, is he a linebacker?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Linebacker prospect. And he's a pretty good one, at a 4-star prospect, number 107 overall nationally, number 11 linebacker, and 6'1", 210 pounds. Good looking player that Notre Dame loves.
So we're taping this on January the 24th. How heavily involved is Notre Dame and other major schools already with the sophomore class in high school? Like you just mentioned, that wide receiver.
Yeah, pretty heavy. I would say a bulk of what Notre Dame is doing right now on the road is for 24s, but you'll see like Jared Parker, for example, he's stopping in and Raleigh Durham, Charlotte, Tennessee, all over the volunteer state. Like, so it's a lot of area recruiting, which is we're stopping in at these high schools to get information about some of these underclassmen that we're scouting. So that it's definitely an important part. Notre Dame's offered a handful of 2025 prospects. They've got a few quarterback offers out, and they offered a new one from the Peach State this past week. But again, it's mainly 24, but Notre Dame's probably offered, I don't know, 30 or 40 players in the 2025 class, something like that.
Okay. Mike, tell our listeners about all the great things happening at blueandgold.com right now.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people, if you like what we do on YouTube and my radio hits with you, Darren, I mean, it's just really scratching the surface for all what we cover and write about at blueandgold.com, and get the live updates on everything, the information as it's happening. We always report that at blueandgold.com. So whether you're into the recruiting side of things, or you really want to dive into kind of the offseason chatter for what's going on with Notre Dame football and all the projections going into next year, Patrick and Tyler and Todd Burlage do a fantastic job, cover the Notre Dame beat. So always recommend heading over to blueandgold.com, and you can join for $29.99. That'll get you premium access. Read all of our articles, get on the Loose Emoji board. That'll get you access till the start of the next football season.